This is the Irish Rebellion of 1798 and the role revolutionary France played in it. Yes, okay. The Society of United Irishmen. This was the group that led the rebellion. They started it. And this group was made up of Catholics and Protestants. When the group first popped up in, I believe, 1791, they initially only wanted parliamentary reform. They did not want complete and total separation just yet. They came out with a declaration in 1792 that highlighted their desired parliamentary reforms and how they wanted it to be set up and the representation that would come from their desired reforms. After war was declared on France in 1793, the Irish government, which was made up of rich landowning British sympathizers, I think I saw somewhere that it was mainly made up of descendants of British settlers, but the government was suspicious of the society, and any form of rebellion was seen as treachery, especially those that were inspired by the French. They were also inspired by the American Revolution, but we're not talking about them. In 1794, it was discovered by the Irish government that the revolutionary government was in negotiations with the United Irishmen, and the group was suppressed. So they went underground, and then they came back up and rebranded themselves, and now they advocated for a free and independent Ireland based on republicanism. Theobald Wolfe, he was one of the founders of the Society of United Irishmen and one of the leaders of the rebellion. He was a supporter of the French and of the Revolution. He believed that the only route to complete separation was through rebellion and an alliance with France, so he traveled to France in 1796 to seek out military aid, which he did accomplish. He wrote a lot of journals and letters, which is where a lot of this information is from, especially about the invasions or expeditions. So he was in France for, I think, a year before the expeditions were approved, that's the word. So in December 1796, a fleet of, the numbers varied. I saw 14,000, 15,000. I also saw 1,500. I saw these numbers the most, so I put them. But they set out, that's supposed to say for Ireland, but weather conditions caused the fleet to split up, and landing was impossible. So the fleet was forced to return to France. Yes. Weather conditions were temperamental, according to his journals. The wind would be good one day and it was bad the next. It was quite funny to read. There were also two Dutch and French fleets that went out in 1797, but they both did not succeed. The first one failed, all sorts of weather, and the second was defeated by the British Navy. After that, the French had promised to try again as soon as they could, and that they would never give up on the emancipation of Ireland. The general in that expedition actually told Tone, the guy, to inform his friends in Ireland that both the French government and himself individually were bent as much as ever on the emancipation of Ireland. But by the time rebellion had broken out in May 1798, Napoleon, who had come into power in that time, had turned his attention, that's supposed to say that's supposed to say to Egypt, and the Irish expeditions were abandoned. When he received mail about the rebellion, He pleaded with the French government to aid with the rebellion, and a small fleet was hastily put together until proper reinforcements were able to be sent, because they really did not want to do that. This expedition was actually able to land, but they were overwhelmed by the English, and they surrendered on September 8, which is the formal ending of the rebellion. From 1796 to 1798, many members of the society were imprisoned, but this did not deter the remaining members, and they went ahead and coordinated a rebellion to break out in Dublin and the counties surrounding Dublin. It was only supposed to be condensed. No, I can't think of the word. It was only supposed to be in those areas, but the government in Dublin did not react to the rebellion. At first, it was allowed to grow and grow until the citizens got involved, and bad things happened. The Irish government got militias set up to fight against them, to counter the rebels. Yes, half-hangings, floggings, towns were set on fire, murder, rebellion things. There were internal problems with the northern factions of the society. The leaders, just supposed due to their failure to respond, they didn't do anything until it was too. No, they just didn't do anything. So they were replaced with people who were going to do things. By June, the rebellion was squashed, but the French expedition that arrived in August, I didn't put that, they arrived in August, sparked another outbreak, but it was put down. The aftermath, leaders of the rebellion were captured, imprisoned, executed, obviously. Tone, he was actually not in Ireland during the rebellion. I think he was exiled like a few years prior, but he would get the mail, and then he asked for France to help. But he was in the expedition. He was in all of them. He was the one that landed, and he was captured a month after the rebellion ended, and he was said to be executed, but he committed suicide in his cell. And after the rebellion was squashed, obviously they did not achieve any of what they wanted. The parliament did not get reformed. It was abolished, and they were not separated at all. They were instead combined, and they became the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. Go, please. Those are my sources. Great.